John D. Rockefeller, from farm boy to titan of industry. Humble beginnings. John Davison Rockefeller was born in 1839 in a small farmhouse in Richford, New York. His father, William Devil Bill Rockefeller, was a wandering salesman with a reputation for trickery, often vanishing for long stretches. His mother, Eliza, a devout Baptist, raised the family with strict discipline and faith. From her, young John learned the value of thrift and charity. From his father, he learned to be cautious in business. As a boy, he sold candy, raised turkeys, and lent money to neighbors, with interest. But one lesson stuck most: tithing. From his very first paycheck, Rockefeller gave 10% of his earnings to his church. This early practice of disciplined giving became a lifelong habit that would one day shape his legendary philanthropy. At 16, he walked the streets of Cleveland for 6 weeks, knocking on office doors until finally landing a job as a bookkeeper at Hewitt and Tuttle. He would later call this date, September 26, 1855, his personal job day, celebrating it every year for the rest of his life. First steps into business. In 1859, Rockefeller and Morris Clark opened a produce business, just as the Civil War began. They supplied the Union Army with meat and grain, making steady profits. But Rockefeller saw something far more promising than food: oil. In 1863, he opened his first refinery in Cleveland. What set him apart was his hatred of waste. While competitors burned off byproducts, he sold them all: tar, lubricants, paraffin wax, petroleum jelly. His meticulous nature turned every drop of crude oil into profit. The rise of Standard Oil Company. In 1870, Rockefeller founded Standard Oil. His ambition was clear: control the entire oil industry through efficiency and strategy. He used two major tactics: horizontal integration, buying out competitors to consolidate the market; vertical integration, controlling every step of production, from wells to pipelines to distribution. To strengthen his grip, he pioneered the Standard Oil Trust in 1882, a groundbreaking structure in which a single board of trustees controlled multiple corporations in different states. This trust system became the blueprint for the great monopolies of the era, and ultimately inspired the Sherman Antitrust Act to regulate such concentrations of power. Rockefeller slashed costs at every level. When barrels became expensive, he built his own barrel factories. He secured secret rebates from railroads, built pipelines and storage facilities, and developed a distribution network that stretched across the nation. By the late 1870s, Standard Oil refined about 90% of the oil in the United States. Even more impressively, he reduced the cost of refining a gallon of oil from around 3 cents to less than half a cent. The price of kerosene dropped from about $9 a barrel to under $1, bringing light to millions of households. Leadership and his people. Rockefeller's leadership style was unique for a man of his power. He was not a loud or emotional leader. Instead, he was calm, analytical, and almost unnervingly composed. He believed that business should be governed by discipline and logic, not shouting or rage. 1. Patience with mistakes. One famous story involves a young executive at Standard Oil who made a disastrous error that cost the company $2 million, a huge sum at the time. Instead of firing the man, Rockefeller invited him into his office and asked him to explain what he had learned. Then, calmly, Rockefeller said, "We've just invested $2 million in your education. Let's not waste it." He kept the employee on, and the man went on to become one of Standard Oil's most valuable leaders. This story reveals Rockefeller's philosophy. People who learn from failure are worth far more than those who never take risks at all. 2. Rewarding trust and responsibility. Rockefeller delegated power to talented managers and expected them to act independently. He believed in choosing people carefully and then letting them work. He often said, "I would rather have one man working with me than 10 men working for me." This philosophy created a loyal network of managers who shared his values of efficiency and precision. 3. Quiet but firm. Rockefeller was known to remain silent during heated meetings, letting others argue themselves out. When the room finally fell quiet, he would speak slowly, clearly, and decisively. His quiet authority often carried more weight than the loudest voices in the room. 4. Partnership and loyalty. He treated his closest business partners with respect and expected absolute loyalty in return. Those who proved themselves could rise quickly in the company, but he also demanded performance. If someone consistently failed to deliver, Rockefeller replaced them without emotion. His leadership was a balance of trust, accountability, and results. The muckraker's spotlight. But Rockefeller's power had a darker side in the eyes of many. In 1902, journalist Ida Tarbell began publishing her serialized expose in McClure's magazine, exposing Standard Oil's ruthless tactics, rebates, intimidation, and secret deals. In 1904, it became the famous book, The History of the Standard Oil Company. Tarbell, one of America's leading muckrakers, turned public opinion sharply against Standard Oil. In 1911, the Supreme Court of the United States ruled Standard Oil an illegal monopoly and ordered its breakup into 34 companies. Ironically, this breakup made Rockefeller even richer. He owned stock in each new company, many of which, like ExxonMobil and Chevron Corporation, would become energy giants. A master of business strategy. Rockefeller loved numbers. He trusted data more than speeches and facts more than feelings. His calmness under pressure gave him a major advantage over fiery rivals. He did not build his empire alone. His leadership created an organization where talented people thrived. Mistakes became lessons and precision ruled. His ability to build loyalty and structure inside his company was one of the great secrets of his success. Robber baron or captain of industry? Rockefeller's reputation remains complex. Many critics called him a robber baron, a man who used ruthless tactics to crush competitors and dominate the oil industry. But others saw him as a captain of industry, a visionary who modernized business, built infrastructure, and delivered cheap energy to the public. This duality defines him. He was both a feared monopolist and a respected architect of American industrial power. The philanthropist. Rockefeller's giving began not after his fortune was made, but when it was small. His Baptist faith inspired him to give 10% of every dollar he earned. As his fortune grew, so did his generosity. In 1913, he created the Rockefeller Foundation, which became a model for modern philanthropy. Its early focus on public health, education, and scientific research transformed entire communities. The foundation helped eradicate hookworm in the American South and funded yellow fever and meningitis vaccine research. He also founded University of Chicago and Rockefeller Institute for Medical Research, now Rockefeller University, and supported Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. Late in his life, he donated land for the United Nations headquarters in New York City. His philanthropy was systematic, data-driven, and visionary. He believed that wealth was a sacred trust, and he spent his life trying to give it away wisely. The final chapter. Rockefeller lived to the age of 97, dying in 1937. He had seen America change from an oil lamp nation to an industrial powerhouse. His trust structure gave birth to modern corporate empires, and his foundations transformed science and education. The companies born from the breakup of Standard Oil remain among the most powerful in the world. His leadership philosophy, calm authority, loyalty, and strategic patience continues to influence corporate management today. Lessons from Rockefeller. Rockefeller's extraordinary life offers lasting lessons. Persistence, 6 weeks of rejection, did not stop him from landing his first job. Vision, he mastered horizontal and vertical integration and pioneered the trust system. Leadership, he valued loyalty, patience, and learning from mistakes. Discipline, calm strategy triumphed over emotion. Efficiency, he turned oil into affordable light for millions. Responsibility, his early tithing grew into one of the greatest philanthropic legacies in history. Conclusion, a legacy that still shapes the world. John D. Rockefeller was more than the richest man of his time. He was a strategist, a builder of trust structures, a quiet but powerful leader, and a philanthropist whose giving reshaped global health and education. His influence lives on not only in the corporations that descended from Standard Oil, such as ExxonMobil and Chevron, but also in the principles of modern corporate leadership and philanthropy. He showed how vision, discipline, and leadership can build empires, shape nations, and outlive a single lifetime. Whether remembered as a robber baron or a captain of industry, Rockefeller's story is ultimately one of ambition, leadership, and responsibility, an American story whose echoes still shape our world today.
It's time to study new words in context. 1. Trickery. Definition: the use of dishonest or clever methods to deceive or cheat someone. Example: the salesman used trickery to convince customers to buy fake medicine. 2. Thrift. Definition: the habit of using money and resources carefully, so that nothing is wasted. Example: her thrift allowed her to save enough money to start a small business. 3. Tithing. Definition: the practice of giving 1/10 of one's income, usually to a church or for charitable purposes. Example: he continued tithing even when he was poor, believing it was his duty to share what he had. 4. Philanthropy. Definition: the act of giving money, time, or effort to help others, especially through charitable organizations. Example: Rockefeller's philanthropy supported hospitals, schools, and medical research across the world. Refinery. Definition: a factory where raw materials such as oil or sugar are made pure and turned into usable products. Example: the oil refinery turned crude oil into gasoline, kerosene, and other fuels. 6. Set him apart. Definition: to make someone different or special in a noticeable way. Example: his honesty and hard work set him apart from the other businessmen of his time. 7. Efficiency. Definition: the ability to accomplish a task with the least waste of time, money, or effort. Example: the company improved its efficiency by using new machines that worked faster and used less energy. 8. Consolidate. Definition: to combine several things into a single, stronger whole. Example: Rockefeller tried to consolidate small oil companies under the control of Standard Oil. 9. Groundbreaking. Definition: introducing new ideas or methods very original or innovative. Example: the scientists' groundbreaking research changed how doctors treat infectious diseases. 10. Kerosene. Definition: a clear, flammable liquid made from petroleum, used as fuel for lamps, heaters, and engines. Example: before electricity became common, people used kerosene lamps to light their homes. 11. Unnervingly. Definition: in a way that makes someone feel nervous, anxious, or uncomfortable. Example: his calm stare was so unnervingly steady that his rivals felt uneasy. 12. Composed. Definition: calm and in control of one's feelings, not easily upset or excited. Example, even during heated meetings, Rockefeller remained composed and spoke only after careful thought. 13. Delegated. Definition. Given part of one's work or authority to someone else, especially a subordinate. Example, the manager delegated important tasks to his trusted team members. 14. Muckraker. Definition. A journalist who investigates and exposes corruption, wrongdoing, or social problems, especially in politics or business. Example, Ida Tarbell became a famous muckraker after exposing the unfair practices of Standard Oil. 15. Fiery. Definition. Showing strong emotion, especially anger or passion, full of energy or intensity. Example, the fiery debate between the businessmen lasted for hours. 16. Infrastructure. Definition. The basic systems and structures a country or organization needs to function, such as roads, bridges, and power supplies. Example, good infrastructure, like railroads and factories, helped American industries grow quickly. 17. Eradicate. Definition. To completely destroy or remove something harmful, such as a disease or social problem. Example, the Rockefeller Foundation worked to eradicate diseases, like hookworm and yellow fever. 18. Hookworm. Definition. A small parasitic worm that lives in the intestines of humans and animals, often causing weakness and anemia. Example, hookworm infections were once common in the southern United States, before public health campaigns stopped them. Number meningitis. Definition. A serious illness in which the protective membranes around the brain and spinal cord become inflamed, often caused by infection. Example, vaccines funded by Rockefeller's Foundation helped prevent deadly meningitis outbreaks.
Comprehension questions. 1. Where and when was John D. Rockefeller born? Answer. He was born in 1839 in Richford, New York, in a small farmhouse. 2. What two major influences shaped Rockefeller's character? During his childhood? Answer. His father taught him to be cautious and financially shrewd, while his devout Baptist mother taught him faith, thrift, and discipline. 3. What early financial habit did Rockefeller learn from his mother's religious teachings? Answer. He practiced tithing, giving 10% of his income to the church from his very first paycheck. 4. How long did it take Rockefeller to find his first job? And why did he celebrate that day every year? Answer. It took him 6 weeks of daily job hunting in Cleveland. He called the day he was hired Job Day and celebrated it every year as a personal milestone. 5. What business did Rockefeller start during the Civil War? And what did it supply? Answer. He opened a produce business with Maurice Clark that supplied grain, meat, and other essentials to the Union Army. 6. Why did Rockefeller move into the oil business? Answer. He recognized that kerosene lamps were in high demand and saw oil refining as a more profitable and promising industry than food supply. 7. What was Rockefeller's unique approach to refining oil that gave him a competitive edge? Answer. He refused to waste any byproducts and found ways to profit from everything, including tar, wax, and gasoline. 8. What are the two main strategies Rockefeller used to build his empire? Answer. Horizontal integration, buying out competitors to consolidate the market. Vertical integration, controlling every stage of production and distribution. 9. What was the Standard Oil Trust and why was it important? Answer. Created in 1882, it allowed one board of trustees to control multiple companies in different states, giving Rockefeller enormous power and inspiring the Sherman Antitrust Act to regulate monopolies. 10. How much of the U.S. oil refining industry did Standard Oil control at its peak? Answer. Approximately 90%. 11. How did Rockefeller's efficiency affect the price of kerosene? Answer. He lowered the price from about $9 a barrel to less than $1, making light affordable for millions of households. 12. Who was the journalist who exposed Standard Oil's business practices, and when was her book published? Answer. Ida Tarbell. Her expose was serialized beginning in 1902 and published as a book in 1904. 13. What did the Supreme Court rule in 1911 regarding Standard Oil? Answer. The Supreme Court of the United States ruled Standard Oil was an illegal monopoly and ordered it to be broken into 34 separate companies. 14. How did the breakup of Standard Oil affect Rockefeller's wealth? Answer: it made him even richer because he owned stock in each of the new companies. 15. How did Rockefeller respond to an employee who made a $2 million mistake? Answer: he said, "We've just invested $2 million in your education and kept the employee, believing mistakes could be valuable learning experiences." 16. What leadership style did Rockefeller prefer in dealing with partners and employees? Answer: calm, strategic, and quiet leadership, delegating responsibility to trusted managers and rewarding loyalty and results. 17. Why is Rockefeller sometimes called both a robber baron and a captain of industry? Answer: because he was both criticized for ruthless business tactics and admired for his efficiency, innovation, and contributions to economic growth. 18. What were some of Rockefeller's major philanthropic contributions? Answer: founded Rockefeller Foundation in 1913, focusing on public health, education, and science. Funded University of Chicago and Rockefeller University. Supported disease eradication efforts. Donated land for the United Nations headquarters. 19. How old was Rockefeller when he died, and what year did he pass away? Answer: he died at the age of 97 in 1937. 20. Why is Rockefeller's legacy still significant today? Answer: many of the companies created from Standard Oil, like ExxonMobil and Chevron Corporation, remain global energy giants, and his philanthropic foundations continue to shape health, education, and science worldwide.